Welcome to another week starter edition of Spot the Money here on Africa Business Radio. My name is Bimbola Awele and we're going straight into today's conversation as we are far spent in our time. We'll kick off straight with football and with the EPL round off and what other came to start the EPL round off with than with the game between Arsenal and Chelsea. It was supposed to be the biggest Boxing Day fixture for this 2020-2021 season. And, well, it kind of did not disappoint. To help me along the way on the analytical chair for this particular set of conversations we're going to have, Osita Undukuba is here live, but on the phone lines. Good morning, Osita.
Yeah, good morning, Bimbo. Compliments of the season.
Same to you. Same to you. Yeah, so the Arsenal-Chelsea game starts it off. It was a moral-boosting win for the Gunners, who came into the London Derby with Chelsea without a win in 7 games. Now, how much did luck, or do you think luck, have to do with this 3-1 win against local rivals Chelsea? Because Arsenal have, really had a spell of bad luck. They haven't been playing badly, but they do say luck has some part to play in football. Do you think it was luck, or that they just kind of played better?
Well, I don't have the official statistics for the percentage of luck in a football match, but if you check mostly in a football match, I don't think luck plays more than 5%.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't think luck plays more than 5% of any football match, and in this football match, I hardly think luck was even in play at all. If you might even say, well, you might say Arsenal was lucky in the sense that the Brazilian connection of Willian and David Luiz were ill, and maybe that's why he forced Arteta to rely on his youthful players, and they brought a lot of zest and energy, because I think maybe that's what kind of surprised the Chelsea players, because Chelsea did not come to the party at all till the second half of that match, and maybe that's what surprised Chelsea, and before you knew it, Arsenal ran up with a 2-goal scoreline, and the third goal, Bukayo Saka told us that he meant it. Some of us felt that was luck. Maybe that's where the 5% of luck came into that match. But I think it was a well-deserved victory. Arsenal came to the party, and Chelsea came in quite late. And it was by the time Chelsea came into the game, I think the game had run out of them. And well-deserved match for Arsenal and Arteta.
So where do you see Arsenal going from here? Prior to the start of this game, there was a lot of talk about if this is the one. It was I think the Tottenham game, that the North London Derby, that everyone was like, if he loses this one, then he'll get the sack. He lost, he still remained. And then, he still remained, and then they were saying maybe it will be this one. And then now that he has won, where do you think, the club is going from here?
Well, reality is that Arsenal is still in a relegation fight. Yes, you might say they are 14th, but the difference between them and the 18th place in the league is not so much. I think it's just about 5 points.
About 5 points there?
Yeah, so they need to really get their loins right. And their next 2 matches, fortunately, you could call it a relegation 6 points, and they face Brighton, I think, in a day's time. And after that, they faced West Brom, who just drew 2 out of their 3 matches against the last 2 champions of England. They drew 1-1 in Man City, they drew 1-1 in Liverpool, and so they need to just take it step by step. Top 4, they shouldn't think about top 4, they shouldn't think about anything, just gradually climb up the table. That's, for me, where the next step is. And as for Arteta, fortunately for him, he did say, or the board did say, they are backing Arteta, and so those Arsenal fans who are shouting Arteta out, it might just not happen at the moment. The only way he could go out is if they probably drop into the bottom 3, and with the way the players have responded in the last match, I think there might be some positive responses if he keeps the balance between youth and experience in the team.
Okay, Chelsea fans were very critical of Frank Lampard after the loss. Some even went as far as to call for him being sacked. What do you make of all the criticism that Super Frankie is receiving in the last couple of days?
Well, I wouldn't say it's so harsh in terms of the fact that in the summer the board allowed Frank have his way, and they spent in excess of £220 million in a recession economy. When you spend that much, expectations are sky high. And looking at the squad of players, man for man, Chelsea, they have the set of players to comfortably be in the top three of the Premier League. Being that as it may, like I did say, I think the players did not come with the required energy for a London derby, and I think Frank addressed that immediately after the match. He even addressed it at halftime with the kind of substitutions he made. So I think Chelsea fans shouldn't necessarily go overboard with Frank Lampard out. I think the squad will definitely do better. I just want to believe this was a one-off blip. Now, they have lost some points from the top of the table, but there's still a lot of matches to go. And if he definitely, brings the squad in the right way, definitely they will end up top three this season.
All right, let's move to another story that I think kind of, caught my eye over the weekend. Leo Messi to decide his Barcelona future in the summer, and there are talks that he is considering, what to do, after all the drama that played out this summer. Will he stay? Will he leave? 700 million pounds, or this 700 or 900 million pounds, to break his contract, and the head of La Liga had to step in, and all of that. But he's looking at this summer, to take another decision. We are building up to another drama come next summer, and he's spoken to reporters. And, he mentioned that he would like to play in the MLS, even though there are speculations, that, City and PSG will not mind to take him. But, I can see City, I can see PSG, but the MLS...
Well, it's what I call it the soap opera of Lionel Messi. Unfortunately for Barcelona, their board, or rather the president and the board over the years, have let this horse kind of bolt out of the stable, and using probability, I think 90% of Messi by the summer will be out of Barcelona. The remaining 10% that is still in Barcelona is the fact that that's been the only club he has known, and as human beings, we don't like change. We are comfortable in our own skin, and being comfortable, he's comfortable in the Barcelona environment. But the question is Barcelona even willing to let him stay? We know the figures concerning Messi, that every year his annual salary is in excess of 100 million euros on its own, apart from bonuses. And I know that this year, for being loyal, staying in Barcelona this season, he's meant to earn another 30 million euros by the side, apart from his 100 million euros salary. And the question is, Barcelona, we know that can they afford it? Recently we found out they asked all their players to take a pay cut so that they could save some money on wages. And so those are some of the questions they need to ask themselves. The real question the fans will be angry with is, even if they do let Lionel Messi go, is anything coming back to Barcelona? And his contract is up in the summer. So the question now remains, will Messi, out of magnanimity, ensure that Barcelona gets something on his leaving, or will he just leave and, it will just be memories for Barcelona? but more likely than not, I think he's leaving, and he's still good enough to play in European football unless he decides to do a Pele on everybody. Pele in his prime decided to go to the American League.
Yeah.
It wasn't named the MLS then, but so anything can happen in football. But more likely than not, we might see him in PSG or Manchester City.
All right, from football now, let's move to basketball. The LA Clippers suffered the biggest loss in their history after finding themselves 50 points adrift of Dallas Mavericks at halftime yesterday's game. Clippers were down 50 points, 77-27. How? How is the big question? They won their first two games of the new season, but could the absence of Kawhi Leonard have something to do with it after their all-star forward suffered, cut to its mouth in Friday's win over the Denver Nuggets? Could it, do you think, had Leonard, not playing have, something to do with it's bad. I don't have a problem with them losing, but, to lose so scandalously, I think that's where the problem is.
Yes, I think they had a Chelsea problem. When I mean a Chelsea problem, they didn't come to the races. We know that Kawhi Leonard is 2 times Defensive Player of the Year, 2 times Finals MVP, and yes, the loss of such a player would affect your squad, but not to the extent that you lose 50 points. Not only 50 points, they were losing by 50 points in the first half, and they extended it to 51 points by the end of the game. It meant the players were probably, their minds were on the Christmas chicken or something, because I don't get how a set of professional players earning millions of dollars will come into an NBA game and be beaten by 50 points, no matter even if you were playing against the great Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, and all the greats of basketball. I mean, 50 points is something disgraceful, and I hope they put their fans' mind at ease in the next game by coming out winning. But it wasn't the fact that Kawhi was not there. It was just a lackadaisical effort by the Los Angeles Clippers. These are the same Los Angeles Clippers prior 3-4 days ago who beat the defending champions LA Lakers. They beat them with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So I don't get how they can lose by 51 points 3 or 4 days later.
All right. Talking about, one defender, the loss of a defender, making all the difference, or, having such an impact. Liverpool will be losing one of their defenders as well. Joe Matip also suffered, an injury in that game they played with West Brom on Sunday, and they've lost Virgil van Dijk, who was very, very instrumental, to them winning the league, in my own opinion, after moving for a reported £75 million to join from Southampton, which Southampton, although, the official figure was not released, Southampton did say in a statement that whatever, the figure that he moved for would be a record for a defender. So everybody assumed, it was in the region of £75 million. So now that they are also going to lose Joel Matip, another experienced defender in that lineup, do they, what do you think they should do? Someone like Jamie Carragher, for example, has suggested that the club has to go shopping for a defender in January. What do you think? They should, and do you think they will be able to cope without Matip and Van Dijk for such a long time?
Well, that was one of the problems Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool technical team did not address in the summer. Getting a centre back. In the last summer, they lost what's the greatest quote-unquote defender in the world in Dejan Lovren, who went to Zenit St. Petersburg, and they never replaced him. I guess maybe they felt they had enough up-and-coming youngsters that will cover for the loss of Dejan Lovren. Unfortunately, Joel Matip getting injured is not news. The 4 seasons Joel Matip has been in Liverpool, every season he gets injured at least once or twice, if not more. So him getting injured again is nothing surprising to Liverpool FC. The real surprise was Joe Gomez getting injured and Virgil van Dijk probably out for maybe till March or thereabout. And so how they cope, they've coped with dropping midfielders into defense. We've seen that Fabiano has been playing in defense all this while. Sometimes even their captain Jordan Henderson drops into defense to cover up, and it's not convenient. Somehow they have managed, but if they don't retain their title, then it's the fault of Jurgen Klopp and the management team. They should have seen this coming and gotten at least an experienced centre back. Now, yes, they might go to the market in this week rather. We are already in January. This week, January will start in this week, so they could go to the market this week and get a central defender. But the problem with buying in January is that most clubs will not release their best players except you come and pay crazy money, and Liverpool definitely are not going to pay crazy money in January. So how they go about it, they might just have to see if maybe an experienced defender somewhere is not getting regular checks and somehow bring out the magic in him. Maybe they could come to Arsenal and get Papastopoulos, what's his name?
Papastopoulos.
Who is not playing. Yeah, who is not playing, and bring out the magic in him. I don't know. But somehow Liverpool, in spite of the rush of injuries they've had, they are still top of the...
Or they could get this guy on loan. What's his name? The Frenchman who wants to play and is not getting playing time for Arsenal. Saliba.
It's possible. So unless they get such kind of players where they won't get much resistance from the selling clubs, it's going to be difficult for them. And but then Liverpool know how to play these games. In the summer, they told us they had no money; they were not going to buy anyone, and somehow they were able to cut out £43 million for Diogo Jota, and so they might just pull another. Just pull another surprise for us.
And the Bayern Munich midfielder as well.
Yes, Thiago
Alcantara.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Jurgen Klopp has kept the club afloat so far. They're still top of the league, and who knows? He might just retain his title.
All right. Finally, let's look at what's happened with Spurs in the last couple of days. They've taken a beating in the last couple of days, not being able to get wins. They've drawn now. 3-4 in the last November, I think it was. They had 4 consecutive days on top of the league, 4 consecutive match days on top of the league in November. Now they've dropped to 5th on the table after another draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers. What is Jose Mourinho getting wrong? Are they losing steam?
I think Mourinho's team is not getting the balance right. If you check their first 5 or 6 matches, he let the handbrake off and they were scoring freely. They were not touching the boss. They went out on the front foot, counter-attacking, hitting teams, and they were scoring goals for fun. And the past 5 or 6 matches, he kind of put the handbrakes on the team, and all they were doing was hitting teams on the counter-attack and trusting the defensive structure of the team. I think it a bit unraveled, especially when they played Leicester City, and they kind of sat back. But when you have a team with the expertise of Jamie Vardy, he did a number on them then, and they didn't seem to have the balance right anymore. And yes, they did score within 60 seconds against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and just like the statistics said, in the second half, I think they only had 1 shot on target at all. Mm-hmm. it wasn't good enough from the Spurs at all. And Mourinho has to find the right balance between attacking and defending, because if not, he will end up with the 1 points and the losses, and he will find himself adrift from the top 4. And I know that he personally wants to get Spurs back even into the Champions League, and maybe even surprise teams this year where no one seems to be holding a stranglehold on the league by taking the league itself. So he needs to really get the balance between attacking and defending and not rely so much on his defense. But I trust in Mourinho and his acumen. He's done this many years, and I'm sure he and his technical team will find the right balance. But I don't think it's a case of them losing steam.
All right, so it's a case of balance, says Osita. Thank you so very much for doing this with us once again. The games are coming thick and fast. There are games today, there are games tomorrow, and
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And, FPL is not really looking good. Everybody needs to go and adjust their teams right about now.
I think this year in the FPL, it's the year of the underdog. Let me put it that way. For those you don't really expect to do much are actually the ones leading the mini leagues here and there. But it's thick and fast, and for those managers who haven't done their transfers for the week, I suggest you get doing before 2:30 p.m. this month and this afternoon, because the deadline for this week's matches starts already. So, Bimbo, I see your team is not doing so badly, but.
We are not doing so bad, but we could have done better. The last 2 match days, I bet against Arsenal, and everything came good for me. The last match day, I bet on Liverpool. I was expecting them, if not to eviscerate West Brom, at least to get a decent result. And that draw was so disappointing.
The irony is that more than 2.3 million managers decided to do a fallacy on the Christmas period. I don't know how we were trying to celebrate a Salah during Christmas.
During Christmas, oh my word!
It doesn't work.
Wow. And then a lot of people brought in Ben Chilwell because he was free to play again. They were hoping for another disappointing performance from Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah.
But just I guess Arsenal came with a different script.
Yeah, and just a free tip for those of you managers, if you have transfers to make, you make them this week, because the next game week, that's game week 17, is this week of the Cup. So you need to be sure that you are available for the Cup. Don't take too many minuses this week. If not, you might just find out that you did not qualify
for the Cup. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Osita. It's been fun. It's been exciting doing this with you as always.
Same here. Always a pleasure. And I do hope we and our listeners, by the time we come into the new year, will have us to celebrate. And it's been a pleasure being with you always.
All right. Thank you so very much. So that has been our final conversation on the analytical chair for Spot the Money for this year 2020. The next time we will be speaking to someone on the show, it will be in the year 2021 on a Friday. Just to quickly let you know, Andy Murray was awarded the wild card for February's delayed Australian Open. It comes 2 years after he played what he feared would be his final match as a professional tennis player in Melbourne. He's a 5-time runner-up suffering from chronic hip pain. He lost in 5 sets to Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut in the first round of the 2019 event. But the organizers have said, he can come and play now if he's fit, even though he's 122nd in the world, which should not have earned him a place at all. But, being a former top-ranked player, they've extended him a wild card. The prize money for the Australian Open in 2020 was 71 million Aussie dollars. Organizers say it will remain the same in 2021. and Nigerian Ultimate Fighting Champion, middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has been ranked the 10th best fighter in the mixed martial arts franchise for the outgoing year. Adesanya had 2 successful title defenses in 2020, beating Yoel Romero via unanimous decision in Las Vegas in March, before stopping hard-hitting Brazilian Paulo Costa in the second round of the highly publicized bout in the United Arab Emirates. The 31-year-old's ranking got a beating due to his uneventual win over Romero earlier in the year. Other fighters in the top 10 this year are light weight fighter Charles Oliveira, light heavyweight campaigner Glover Teixeira, flyweight star Brandon Moreno, and women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko. Another Nigerian fighter, Kamaru Usman, was not listed among the top 10 fighters despite retaining his welterweight title against Jorge Masvidal in 2020. The Auchi-born MMA star had just one fight in 2020, which affected his positioning on the log. And just to let you know, the NPFL, Nigerian Football Professional League, is back. Action returned for the first time after a 9-month break, with weekend matches in 6 venues across the country. Kwara United recorded the week's only away victory, defeating champions Plateau United 2-0 at the New Jos Stadium. MFM FC defeated Warri Wolves 2-1 at the Agege Stadium. All the goals were scored within the first 20 minutes. Nasarawa United came from a goal down to win 2-1 against Wiki Tourist at the Lafayette Township Stadium. There were also lone goal victories as FC Fayoba over Lobby Stars and Jigawa Golden Stars over Sunshine Stars. The day's only draw was recorded at the Gombe Township Stadium, Pantami, where Adamawa United forced visitors Kano Pillars to a 1-1 draw. The other 4 fixtures, which could not hold on Sunday, will all take place within the week. Enyimba and Abia Warriors will also slug it out in a local derby in Abba on Tuesday, while Rivers United, fresh from their 2-0 away victory over Bloemfontein Celtic in the CAF Confederation Cup, will host Enugu Rangers at the Adokie Amisiamaka Stadium at Port Harcourt on Wednesday. That has been our show for the final edition of Spot the Money in the year 2020. The conversation will still continue, nonetheless, on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio and online at www.africabusinessradio.com. Until our next episode, keep winning. I am Bimbola Awele.